Welcome to my channel Remember Me. Firstly, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video and to remember these cases. I believe that if people remember, talk about these cases, then there'll be more of a chance that new information will surface and that this information could help solve a case. This video is in honour of the Black Lives Matter protests and campaigns in America and internationally. I wanted to also acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land in which I live on, and I wanted to extend that respect to elders past and present and emerging. And similarly, I wanted to devote this video to the memory of George Floyd. Just a warning that some viewers may find content distressing. Cleashindra Denise Hall, born March 30th, 1976, and she went missing on May 9th, 1994 at the age of 18 years old. Her current age would be 44 years old. At the time of her disappearance, Cleashindra, whom everyone called Cleo, was 2 weeks away from graduating high school. She was an honor student, had landed a summer internship at a Boston pediatrician's office, and had been accepted into the pre-med program at Tennessee State University. Hall intended to follow a career as a pediatrician. She was expected to enroll in medical courses at Tennessee State University. Hall had no previous history of leaving without telling anyone. She was reportedly not a troubled teen and had no known reason to voluntarily escape her life. Hall did not have a boyfriend at the time of her disappearance. Cleo was last seen at her work in the vicinity of 3300 block of Fawcett Road in Pine Bluff. Cleo told her family that she would call them from her shift once her shift ended for a ride home, but she never called. Later that evening, her mother phoned her employer and was told that Cleo left work at approximately 8:30 p.m. when a ride arrived. The employer had told police that he saw Cleo look out of the window around 9:30 p.m. and then leave. He assumed her parents had picked her up. Laurel Hall, Cleo's mother, fell asleep while waiting for her daughter to call. She woke up around 1 a.m. on May 10, 1994. Her mother soon realized that Hall had never called for her ride and had yet to return home. Hall's parents reported her missing on May 10th, but they were told that police regulations required a 24-hour waiting period before the police would take any missing persons report. Cleo was wearing a white shirt and short sleeves with navy blue polka dot patterns on one side and stripes on the other side, white socks and white athletic shoes, as well as small stud earrings at the time of her disappearance. Her family does not believe she would just run away. She did not bring her purse with her and left her driver's license at home. An early suspect in the case was a local boy whose name was not given to the press. Hall reportedly liked him and acted friendly with him. The boy was subjected to police interrogation and his vehicle was searched, but the police could not connect him to the disappearance and did not prove any leads. The boy was also subject to a polygraph test, and the results were inconclusive. Larry Amos is considered a person of interest, and Hall's mother believes that Dr. Amos had enough time to discard any evidence potentially left from such a struggle. In her opinion, the police should not have waited weeks to examine potential crime scenes. Lieutenant Terry Hobson of the Pine Bluff Police Department has reported that their search of Amos's home failed to turn up any evidence that Hall was either injured or attacked there. Amos is considered a suspect because he worked with Hall and was one of the last people to see her alive. Here is an age progression image of what Cleo would have looked like age 38. According to Terry Hobson, the local police have spent many hours and manpower on this case over the years, and the investigation was still ongoing in 2009. The local police considers the Hall case likely to involve kidnapping, but reportedly had no clue to the identity of any potential kidnappers. Foul play is suspected in her case. Investigators believe she was probably murdered by someone she knew and trusted. The whereabouts of Cleo remain unknown. Lisa Ann Littles. Born sometime in 1966, she went missing in September 27, 1994, at the age of 28 years old. She would currently be 54. Lisa was last seen by a secondary party, also known as BJ, in which Lisa was having an argument with. They were in the area of MacArthur Park in their car. Lisa seemed to have calmed down and exited the car to use the restroom after the argument. After 15 minutes, the secondary party went to check on her, but could not locate Lisa. Lisa was wearing a long-sleeve white blouse with University of Arkansas Razorback logo, burgundy pants, and black shoes at the time of her disappearance. She is still currently missing. Beverly Redmond, born sometime in 1954 and disappeared on September 10, 1999, at the age of 45. Her current age would be 66. Redmond was last seen in Little Rock, Arkansas. She dropped her daughter off at a party at 10:30 p.m. She was supposed to come pick her daughter up later, but instead she called and instructed her daughter to stay the night at a friend's house. When Redmond's daughter returned home the next morning, she found her mother's car and personal belongings there, but there was no sign of Redmond. She's never been heard from again. Redmond's daughter saw her father cleaning the garage floor with bleach the day after Redmond's disappearance. When police searched the garage, they found no evidence of violence. They stated that Redmond's husband, a hunter, was cleaning up blood from wild game. The couple had some marital problems, and Redmond had a restraining order against her husband. In 1997, she filed a police report saying he had sexually assaulted her and she feared for her life. No charges were filed against him in that instant. Her husband remains a person of interest in her disappearance. However, in an article on today's THV, Redmond's daughter does not think her father was involved in her mother's disappearance. Redmond worked as a nurse at the Arkansas Cancer Research Center at the University of Arkansas Medical School. It is believed that she was wearing a navy and baby blue striped shirt, blue jeans, and brown sandals at the time of her disappearance. She is described as a dedicated mother who enjoyed her job. Her case remains unsolved. Thwana Mithsell Darrough, born on March 12, 1972, and disappeared on January 11, 1998, age 16. She would currently be 31. Thwana was last seen in her hometown of El Dorado, Arkansas. Edwin Austin, her mother, reported her missing the same day. She disappeared sometime after 7 a.m. while she was walking to El Dorado High School from her home on South March Street. Witnesses say that they saw her waiting for a bus, but she supposedly never made it to school that day. At the time of her disappearance, she was wearing a turquoise shirt, a white turtleneck sweater, and a white mini skirt. An anonymous tip was submitted in early February 1989 indicating that there was evidence in the Smithville community. The police had searched that area previously. In 2011, an age-progressive image was released of what Thwana would have looked like at the age of 38. Thwana's case is classified as a non-family abduction and few details are available in her case. According to an appeal, it seems that this is because of the lack of leads and tips, not because of the neglect in her search. Foul play is suspected, and unfortunately Thwana's case remains unsolved. Jeffery Lynn Smith, born October 12, 1969, and disappeared on the 4th of December, 1985 at the age of 16. She would now be 51 years old. Lynn was last seen walking home from school. Her aunt was the last one to see her with Lynn's boyfriend at the time, Frank Hanna. The two of them were last seen on Silver Street in Hot Springs. Frank said that they had parted ways and she kept walking alone. Jeffrey's boyfriend had been allegedly abusive towards her, and she wanted to end their relationship prior to her disappearance. The police were aware of the boyfriend's actions, but they didn't consider him as a suspect in Jeffrey's disappearance. He was later charged with an unrelated assault against another person and has also assaulted another one of his girlfriends post Lynn's disappearance. At the time, she was considered a runaway, and authorities were slow to investigate her case, even though she was a minor. Police questioned her boyfriend right after her disappearance, but they did not press further. 2 months before her disappearance, Jeffery had received an opal ring as a gift for her 16th birthday, which she guarded as if it was the crown jewels of England, says her sister Lisa Murray. The family discovered that the opal ring had been pawned, and they believe it was pawned by Lynn's boyfriend. Jeffery was wearing pink pants, brown jacket, and brown tan shoes at the time of her disappearance. Here is an age progression of what Jeffery would have looked like at the age of 38. In 2012, Lynn's sister, Lisa, got authorities to reopen the case and gave an interview to News One. She stated, "One of the main reasons why I wanted the case to be re-examined is because I feel it didn't get the treatment it deserved from prosecutors 27 years ago." Jeffery was originally classified as a runaway, although she had no history of doing so. Her case wasn't given the credence because of who she was. She was black, and they put no view into her life, she said. One example, Murray says, is when the police told her mother and stepfather that they had news about Smith's disappearance to get them down to the police station. Once at the police station, they found out it was a ruse. Her stepfather had an outstanding traffic warrant and was instead arrested. This was inhumane. The people were supposed to protect us, and they were playing games, said Murray. When her family reviewed the file in 2007, Murray says they found many inconsistencies, including one of the case's biggest flaws. Murray feels prosecutors back then never closely examined the person her sister was last seen alive with, Smith's boyfriend. Yet the police interview of the boyfriend was reportedly woefully insufficient. The interview consisted of them standing at his door and asking him questions. They interviewed him for 5 minutes. "My mum and dad sat outside the door and watched," said Murray. But law enforcement have since stepped up the task. They have dedicated detectives who spent their personal time examining the case, and prosecutors appear to be willing to follow new leads. Murray is excited that the new detective on the case is at least willing to ask prosecutors to review the case again. In 2012, investigators stated they had a person of interest. There have been a number of searches conducted in wooded areas, but Lynn's case remains unsolved. I wanted to thank you so much for watching this video and for taking the time to remember this case. It would really mean a lot if you could share this video to spread these people's stories in the hope that new information will resurface. To recommend a case, please contact me on Instagram or send me an email. Thank you!